What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Fight Network's Downtown Studios. I am John Ramdeen. He is Robin Black. Bellator 170 went down in Los Angeles this past weekend. The co-featured bout, Paul Daley, Brennan Ward. Paul Daley doing what he does best, thrilling the audience after a spinning back elbow leads to him soaring through the air and landing a massive knee to Brennan Ward's head. Ward falling down, unconscious, job done. Awesome.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah, that was pretty spectacular. I mean, this is the fight, not just of the night, but this is really what the card's about. In the end, controversy, which is Chael's middle name, Chael. Oh, no, it's P, right? Controversy, sonnet. And then Tito retires. That's all the stuff to bring in wrestling fans and stuff. This is the fight.
Yes.
This is the martial arts contest between two combat sportsmen. Phenomenal. Going into it, Brennan Ward was like, I'm just going to stand in there and fight this guy. And we discussed it. It's like, well, then you either kill or be killed. It's a hard way to go make a living. There was a point he caught Daley's leg, and Daley went down. And it's like, are you crazy? But he did get another takedown later on after that. But beautiful stuff from both guys. There's a mentality. You are going to be feasted on if you back up against Daley. He's too good. You know, that guy was knocking people out with kicks in Nottingham when he was a teenager. You're going to get feasted on. You must move towards him. And it takes a special kind of man to do that. And Brennan Ward did that.
You can sense the danger. Like, fighters can sense the danger when they go into that area. It's like, this is where it's going to be the absolute worst for me, though.
People who have competed on even a low level, they go in, you spar with somebody, and you sometimes just feel the danger. It's the way you just know they move better than you do, and you can't quite get a read on it. That's a dangerous thing. Paul Daley is that, like, at the weigh-ins.
Everybody,
Paul Daley is that like a year ago before the fight. Like, that is a terrifying thing, and it takes a lot of courage and heart and drive to be able to go in there like Brennan Ward did. And that's why he should be celebrated for a fight like that. But if you're going to get to Daley and drop him, you're going to do it by fighting this way. But a more likely scenario is you are going to get taken out because Paul Daley is a surgeon. He's a violent surgeon. He's beautiful to watch. If you're a fan of fighting, how can you not be a fan of him? And when we talked about this fight going in, I said, just drop everything you're doing right now and go watch Paul Daley versus Nick Diaz. Go find that. It's on Fight Pass. It was Strikeforce. It's on Fight Pass. Go find that. Paul Daley's been doing this for a long time. He wants to fight Rory McDonald.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
So when you think of that, Bellator, when they understand what they have right now, it's like, okay, who's it going to be? Brennan Ward, Paul Daley. A lot of people felt it was going to be Paul Daley because he has a lifetime of striking, and now the fact that he's been defending takedowns and he understands the distance management, and it feels like Paul Daley knows how to be in the most damaging position every single time when he attacks. And that's going to be a very difficult for anybody in the division because they're so far behind.
I mean,
Michael Page?
Paul Daley would destroy Michael Page right now. I mean, it's just a seasoning and an evolution, and I don't think that he's ready for that yet. Could he be? If Daley has plateaued and only trains at a certain level now and is only focused on getting a little bit better, while Venom is continuing to grow, could he be better than Paul Daley in 2 years or 3 years? Maybe. But right now, that's the worst fight in the world for Michael Page, is to fight Paul Daley, and I don't think you'll see that. I don't think anybody's crazy enough to give that kid Paul Daley. The UFC cut Paul Daley with a little shenanigans with Koscheck after. And today, guys, you know, the level of what you'd get away with in a 2017 world, push kicking Big John, you know, all kinds of things that are way worse than that. And at the moment, everybody, you just knew it. If you knew anything about Paul Daley from that day forward, this is one of the greats when it comes to using his hands and his feet, will continue to be so, and should be fighting the top-level guys. He will be running through everybody not named Rory McDonald, and that fight will be an amazing fight. You watch early, if you go watch that half a round again, the elbow is beautiful, the flying knee. Watch this one low kick that he throws early.
Right off the hop.
And the leg just, you know, this is the way your knee goes. The leg caves the other way. I'd love to talk to Brennan today. I'd say congratulations on a great fight, and it really was one.
Yeah.
And you should be proud of that curved scar that is going to be there forever to remind you of the night you strove for greatness with Paul Daley. But I'd like to ask him how his leg feels, because that was a vicious leg kick. And you get a couple of those out on Rory early, and you're in that fight.
We often discuss about the UFC's 170-pound division. And we talk about Tyron Woodley, the champion, and Stephen Thompson, and Damian Maia, and Cowboy, and Masvidal, and how it's such a spectacular division. They have the power, they have the smoothness, they have the experience. Can Bellator do the same thing when you look at Rory McDonald and you look at the champion Doug Lima and Andrei Koreshkov and Paul Daley and all the different fighters that they've got at that division? Brennan Ward, even though he has the loss, you could put him up against Michael Venom Page. Is it important that they build their own division? Make it separate from the UFC, but make it one that the fans need to see.
Those 4 fighters, that results in 6 brilliant fights, right? That's a year's worth of fights. You bring 4 more in, you've got those 6 plus populating.
And you have
all
Ben
of that.
Henderson, so you can throw into that mix at 170
True.
pounds too.
And I think Michael Chandler, my guy Mike, just went out
Rory?
and said he'd like to fight Paul Daley.
Oh, Paul Daley,
He just went out and said he'd like to fight Paul Daley. Put me down for some of that. This I want to see. That's a speed game. That's a move. That's an exploding in and exploding out on angles game. It's a challenge for Chandler. I admire his desire to take that. I admire Michael Chandler. That is without question. But that is a very, very tough fire to want to walk through.
Does that mean that Michael Chandler, if he's open to a fight with Paul Daley at 170 pounds, he would be open to a fight with Rory McDonald at 170 pounds?
That's terrifying. Rory McDonald's at 200.
Huge.
I did a little get-together. We were making poutine. Me, Chuck Liddell,
Forrest.
Rory McDonald, and Forrest Griffin. Forrest was an immense 205er, and Chuck was a sizable 205er. And when one of the first things they said when Rory walked away, that kid's crazy. But then after that, they were like, that guy's a welterweight? He was bigger than them, walking around 2.5 months out from a fight, and not fat or anything, just thick and filled with carbohydrates and moisture. He makes it down. If you see him and Michael Chandler in a room together, they're not the same species of dog. You know what I mean?
But Michael Chandler doesn't care.
Yeah,
Does he
I
care?
know. No, he doesn't.
If he's willing to get into a cage with Paul Daley, knowing the damage that Paul Daley inflicts on people, it seems like he doesn't care.
No, Mike's fearless, and he just dealt with Ben Henderson for 25 minutes, so he knows what he's capable of. Just this conversation, we are putting together some very, very exciting options and possibilities for Bellator, and that's cool to see. And why are we even talking about this on Monday morning? Because Crazy Chael does Crazy Chael things with Tito Ortiz. It's undeniable that this conversation, which started last week when there were no UFC events coming up, has now carried through to Monday, and it may carry through to Tuesday and Wednesday. And when they look at that, and when Bellator is looking at, hey, how'd it go? They're like, we got to book more fights like Chael versus Tito, because this gets people talking about people like Chandler, people like Paul Daley.
And that's what it comes down to. Yes, everybody, the casual fans, the masses, are driven to the main event between Tito Ortiz and Chael Sonnen, but it is very, very important that the supporting cast does their job in both Brennan Ward and Paul Daley. Home run, my friends.